Have you ever wondered what it's like to run a multi-million pound property company? This week I've dealt with everything from property service to accommodation issues to attending my first ever trade show up at the Old Trafford Centre. I was also lucky enough to end the week by talking at Tyler Newman's 2-day mastermind. Let me show you the reality of behind the scenes, the challenges, the wins, so you can see what it is really like to grow a business like mine. So my week started off with our serviced accommodation that we have up in Liverpool. Some major issues here. Our property was broken into twice. I put this down to being a direct result of acquiring the wrong property in the wrong location. This mistake could have been avoided with proper due diligence. This is a harsh lesson that we had to learn. So, tip number 1, always prioritise thorough research and due diligence of the property and the market and the location before any acquisition. Location is everything and it can make or break your investment. This then leads me on to tip number 2. If something is not working, do not hesitate to pivot. We have now exited the property, we've moved all of our furniture out, and we've took that to go move into another HMO that we've purchased that aligns with our goals, and it provides a more stable income and future. I'm going to be going over this in other videos on how to actually analyse a property and a location and an area to make sure that you're doing your proper due diligence and getting the right property that will fulfil your needs and your cash flow goals. Next up was a major milestone for our company. We attended the National Landlord show up at Old Trafford. This was our very first trade show, and thankfully we were the only contractors in the room, which is incredibly rewarding, and we were swarmed with investors and landlords who were hoping to purchase and needed services like ours, like refurbishment and property maintenance, to be able to get their property from start to finish. As we've never done one of these shows before, but this was an incredible experience to be the face of Property Edge with me and my business partner, representing our services to hundreds of investors. Which leads me on to tip number 3. If you're building a business, especially in a contracting or property industry, network is king. You've all probably heard of the saying, your net worth is your net worth. Anyone good in property and anyone at the top of their game, they all tend to know each other, they all tend to work together. There's no reason why you cannot become a part of that group and also utilize the skills that you currently have to generate your cash flowing business and not just become a landlord. In property, there is 2 avenues. You can be a landlord or you can be a property business owner. Both are fine, both will create future and generational wealth. However, having a cash flowing asset, whether it be a company that you already own or something that's within the property space that generates cash flow, like bespoke deal packaging or property trading or construction and refurbishment and maintenance. Having these type of cash flowing assets at your arsenal and your tool belt is what will then propel you with your property acquisitions and property purchases in the future. You being able to leverage that cash flow with things like bridging finance and be able to grow your portfolio much quicker and in a short space of time. Or should I say, shorter space of time. Property is not a quick game. I want to emphasize putting yourself in front of the right people. Those people who either need your services or the type of people that you want to be around, which are going to propel you and your business forward. That can be just signing up to the best local gym. That can be going to networking events within the industry that you want. Trade shows, talking to local estate agents or lettings agents if you're in the deal packaging game and you want to build them connections to potentially get off-market deals. Don't underestimate the power of just showing up. Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, there will be people there that you can learn from, talk to, potentially work together. One of my biggest customers, I actually met at the London XL at the Property Investor Show, and that was just from me walking around the stalls, and they actually had a stall there. And that was just off the back of me walking up, talking to them, telling them what I did. They told me what they did, and then we ended up sitting down for a coffee, and it ended up leading to my £17.5 million contract. This then leads me on to tip number 4. Being different is an advantage. Me being the only contractor at the National Landlord Investor Show meant that we had an advantage over the competition because there was no competition. This can apply to you and your business, especially for any of you that want to become deal packagers and sourcers. Constantly going to these property networking events, they sound good, but the reality is a lot of the people that are there are the exact same as you. They're also sourcers that are hoping to find investment. They may be looking to find customers who they can package deals for. You're all there to do the same thing, so therefore you don't really have an advantage. I would suggest that you start going to networking events which are in the business sector, financial sector, medical space, fashion space. You want to put yourself in high net worth locations that don't necessarily already work in property. Why would somebody in the property game, why would someone who's already in the property game who has a lot of money throw their money at you? They already know the game, they already know they can do it themselves. Now that's not to say that you won't get investment from property guys. Of course you can. There's plenty of examples of that. But you need to put yourself in scenarios where you have that competitive advantage. You are the expert in the room. That's That's just for networking, where you want to put yourself in that power position to find customers. When you want to put yourself in an environment where you want to be educated, then you just need to put yourself in a room where you are the dumbest person in the room. And I try and do this very often. I always try and surround myself with people who are experts in social media or marketing, because they are the areas that I am really deficient in at the moment. And that's now my next avenue. I'm trying to put myself around people that I can learn from and give me the motivation and inspire me and keep giving me that kick up the arse, moving the needle and taking the steps that I need to take. So to finish the week, I attended Tyler Newman's 2-day mastermind at his property in London. I was lucky enough to attend this mastermind as a mentee, learning from Tyler as a mentor. And now I'm lucky enough to be attending, talking to others and mentoring other people through their journey. This experience reminded me of two great takeaways. Number one, there is always a bigger game to be played. No matter how far you've come, there's always room to grow. New challenges to face and higher goals to set. And I think it was in a Kevin Hart video that I remember watching, was you get into this one room of people and you're all playing this game, and then you realise there's just a door in the corner. You get through that door and there's a whole new game to be played. In the corner, there's another door. There's another room with a whole new set of rules and a whole new set of people, all playing a completely different game. And you need to switch that mindset of there's an abundance, and there's an abundance of money around you. There's an abundance of experience that you can learn from, and there's always another room that you can get into. Which brings me on to takeaway number 2. And I did touch on this earlier. Your network is everything. And I mean everything. The amount of business that I've got from people opening doors and who you know is incredible. You need to keep surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, driven individuals. I'm sorry if you've got some of them friends from back home, if you've managed to move away, or who are still currently around you. They're not necessarily going anywhere. Unfortunately, you need to drop them. I'm a strong believer in dropping them people. If there is no perceived value of having them in your life, why are they in your life? You're going to allow negativity or the lack of ambition from other people to dictate your life and the success that you have. Not for me. No, thank you. If you are constantly around people who are comfortable with the status quo, then it is very easy for you in your life to just become stagnant and complacent. You need to have this network of mentors, peers, individuals like yourself, and collaboration is crucial to actually leveling up your business. This then brings me on to tip number 5. Mentorship is very valuable. Now, I know that everyone says that you see these fake gurus on Instagram and YouTube, and I'm saying this as someone who does not currently sell any course, and I say currently because I probably will in the future, and it would be wrong of me to say that I won't. I would not be where I am today without paying to be in the room with influential people who can help me move the needle, who can help me progress, who can help me open doors. YouTube is great for learning all of the free content that you can possibly get, and it will, to some extent, you could become a very knowledgeable expert in a field free online. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't teach you how to implement the actual steps and the information that you've been given. You will only learn this by actually doing it or learning from people who have actually done it on a day-to-day basis and be mentored. For me, the importance of mentorship is not only the education. Like I said, you can learn a lot online for free. It's the implementation of it. It is the network that you get, the other like-minded individuals. For me, for example, I've paid thousands for my education. And because I've paid thousands for my education, I'm now around other people who have also paid thousands to have that education. The friendships that you build along the way, that then becomes future business partners, friends in the right spaces, the mindset, the changes in your personality and the person that you have to become to be that successful individual that you want to be. And essentially, you're learning from those who have walked the path that you want to follow, however cheesy that may sound. Which brings me on to my final tip. Delegation is crucial. As you start to scale, whether you own a contracting company like myself or a deal packaging company, one of the biggest bottlenecks usually becomes yourself. For me, in the early stages, and I say early stages as if I'm an old company, I'm still not an old company, I've just managed to do a lot in a short space of time, and I've got a little bit lucky to some aspects. However, I've learned to take a step back. I've learned to focus on the actual money critical tasks of the business and delegate the menial tasks to people who are going to be essentially better than I am at them given tasks. For example, I'm good at sales, but I'm terrible at the administration and the finance in the background. I can manage money, but I'm terrible at making sure that I'm up to date with like compliances, for example. So my business partner deals with that. It is fine to be bad at something. It's how you get over that hurdle. And usually it's who can you work with or who do you know that can solve the deficiencies that you have. And essentially you're just getting other people to fill the gaps where you are weaker. And this is essential to be able to scale in any company, whether it's property or not. I will be putting together a blueprint where I will be walking you through the exact steps that I took to grow my business from nothing to a multi-million pound company within just 24 months. If you're interested in scaling or growing your contracting company, property maintenance company, refurbishment, or your deal packaging and sourcing, or you just want to get into the property game, make sure that you subscribe, follow. I'm going to be leaving a link down below to my free school community where I'm going to be giving away tricks and tips that I use to grow my company. So make sure that you do subscribe and follow for more updates.